everyone. From this video I am going to start about infrared spectroscopy. So in our previous lecture we have learned about carbon NMR, proton NMR and mass spectrometry. Carbon NMR and proton NMR spectra tell us about the hydrocarbon skeleton of a molecules, while a mass spectrometry weighs the molecule as a whole, or it tells about the atomic composition of the molecule. But none of these techniques tells us about the functional group available in the organic molecules. For example, if you have C double bond O or C double bond C in your molecules, you can predict them by using carbon NMR, because in case of carbonyl you will have one peak after 150 ppm. Same for carbon double bond, you will see a peak between 100 to 150 ppm. But what about the nitro group? None of them tell about the nitro group available in our organic molecule. So to find the functional group available in organic molecules, we use IR spectroscopy, and this is a electromagnetic spectrum which has a visible light on the higher energy side and microwave on the lower energy side of IR range. So we use this infrared radiation for finding the functional group in organic molecules. So all organic molecule has covalent bonds, and when molecules irradiated with IR radiation, there will be vibration in bonds. And the IR spectroscopy is an absorption spectroscopy. So when the frequency of IR radiation match with the frequency of vibration of bond, then energy gets absorbed and we get a IR spectrum. Now we will see what is the meaning of vibration of bond here. So we will explain it by using this example. So any change in the shape of the molecule due to stretching or bending of bonds in a molecule is known as vibration in molecules. Like you can stretch or you can compact or you can bend this bond in the plane or out of the plane. So that is known as a vibration of bond. Now question is here, why are the vibration of bond in molecules are important for us? So an organic molecule has different type of bonds, and each bond vibrate at different energy or frequency. So the energy required to vibrate for a particular bond gives us information about that bond. Means if we have like a bond between carbon and carbon, carbon and nitrogen, and carbon oxygen, so each bond will vibrate at different frequency, and using that frequency or based on that which frequency getting absorbed, we can tell that our molecule has this type of bonds or functional group containing these bonds. Now we will see what are the fundamental vibration can be in a molecule. So this is the stretching vibration. First we will see symmetric stretching. So this is a symmetric stretching, means both bonds are stretching on the same direction. This is asymmetric stretching, means one bond going out and one is coming in. So this is asymmetric stretching. Now bending vibrations. So first in plane bending. So this is in plane bending, means scissoring, means both bond in plane but going in opposite directions. This is rocking, they are in plane but in the same direction. Now out of plane, so this is twisting, means both bonds are twisting in the opposite directions. And this is wagging, means bonds are out of the plane but they are in the same direction, means both bonds are wagging at the same time. Now here this is important to note that asymmetric vibration require higher energy than symmetric vibration, and symmetric vibration require higher energy than bending vibration. So this will be the energy order for asymmetric to bending vibration. So this is the IR spectrum for vanillin, and these are the IR peaks which give us the information about different type of bonds available in the molecules, which we will discuss in coming lectures. And as you can see here, this is the spectrum between wave number and transmittance, and the important thing here that this is upside down and right to left, means peaks are upside down and they start from right to left. Now why this is like that? So first we will see the region for back to front, means right to left. So the absorption of IR radiation can be expressed either in terms of wavelength or in wave number. So wave number is the 1 upon wavelength. So suppose wavelength is 2.5 micron or 2.5 is to 10 to the power minus 4 centimeter for the absorption, then wave number will be 1 upon 2.5 is to 10 to the power minus 4, means 4000 centimeter inverse. So that's the reason for this spectra to be right to left or back to front, because we are using wave number instead of wavelength. Now why this is upside down? So the spectra is recorded in transmittance instead of absorption, so it comes upside down. So if you notice, in previous spectra we have absorption on the y-axis, but here we have transmittance, so that's why it's upside down. So IR spectra is recorded as transmittance versus wave number, that's why it's upside down and back to front. Now IR radiation gives molecular vibration in covalent bonds, and which can be viewed as spring holding together two masses or atoms. So this is the stretching of a spring and this is the bending of a spring. So we can compare this spring with the bonds in a molecule. So the IR frequency to vibrate a bond can be predicted by the Hooke's law, because Hooke's law is applicable for a spring, the bending and stretching in a spring. So we can apply same law to find the frequency for the vibration of a bond in a molecule. So according to Hooke's law, frequency nu is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root k upon mu. K is the force constant and mu is the reduced mass of the atoms. Or in wave number it will be 1 upon 2 pi c under root k upon mu, and mu, which is reduced mass, will be mx my upon mx plus my, where mx and my are the masses of atom x and y in kilogram or gram. So using Hooke's law we can find the frequency for a bond to vibrate under the IR radiation. Now frequency depends on reduced mass and force constant. As you can see from this formula, this frequency depends on reduced mass and force constant, is directly proportional to force constant and inversely proportional to reduced mass. So as force constant increases, the frequency of absorption will increase. As reduced mass increases, the frequency of absorption will decrease. So reduced mass is the atomic mass of atoms having the bond, and force constant is the strength of the bond. So means as the strength of bond increases, the frequency will increase, and as the mass of the atoms increases where we have the bond, the frequency will decrease. So finally we can correlate this relation between frequency. So if bond strength increases or reduced mass decreases, vibration frequency finally will increase, and if bond strength decrease or reduced mass increases, then vibration frequency decreases. So you have to remember this correlation between reduced mass and vibrational frequency, and the bond strength and vibrational frequency. Now, as you know, molecules are two types, homonuclear or heteronuclear. Homonuclear means have only same type of atoms. Heteronuclear means have different type of atoms. So all molecules or all organic molecules are not IR active. Some may be IR inactive. So what is the condition for a molecule to IR active? So essential condition for a molecule to be IR active is changing or fluctuating dipole moment during a vibration. So if bond is between two carbon and carbon, there is no change in the dipole moment during the vibration. But if this bond is between carbon and oxygen, those have different electronegativity, which create a dipole here. So that will have a change or fluctuation in a dipole moment during the vibration. So this bond will be IR inactive, while this bond will be IR active, because there is a change in dipole moment. So all homonuclear molecules where there is no change in dipole moment are IR inactive, while heteronuclear molecule, those have change in dipole moment, will be IR active. So this is the condition for finding the molecule those are IR active or inactive. Now we will see about the instrumentation of IR spectroscopy. So in IR spectroscopy we are commonly use two types of spectrometer. First is dispersive and second is Fourier transform instrument, and both of these type of instrument provide this same type of spectra, which has range from 400 to 4000 centimeter. So although spectra are given, only difference is FT infrared spectrometer provide the IR spectrum more rapidly than dispersive instrument. So the beam of infrared radiation from a hot wire divided into two parallel beams of equal intensity by this mirror. Now the sample is placed in one beam and the other beam is used as a reference. The beams then pass to the monochromator, which disperses into a continuous spectrum of frequency of infrared light. Now the monochromator consists of a rapidly rotating sector, which is also known as beam chopper, that passes the two beams alternatively to a diffraction grating. And the slowly rotating diffraction grating varies the frequency of wavelength of radiation reaching the thermocouple detector. The detector sends the ratio between the intensities of the reference and sample beams and determine which frequency have been absorbed by the sample. And after the signal from the detector is amplified, the recorder draws the resulting spectrum of the sample on a chart. And thank you very much.